Coming up on Mountain News this morning, we'll show you how crews in Bell County are preparing for today's expected wintry weather.
And we take you to Floyd County, where one couple accused of abusing their adopted children were in court yesterday.
And sirens rang through Clay County last night in an attempt to rid people of a massive bird infestation, but some people say more will need to be done.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. It is 1 minute after 6 o'clock. I'm Will Puckett.
And I'm Madison Pergram.
Thank you for tuning in to Mountain News This Morning on this Friday. And Madison, a lot of schools are actually giving a lot of kids this Friday off, expecting the weather that we expected to see. Whew.
Now, will we see it is the big question.
You know, I'm one that hopes, but now that everybody's starting to call off school, let's bring Brandon in this morning. I said it to you, Brandon, I think it was right before we came up at 5 o'clock ago. Brandon, people are calling off left and right. You know what that means?
Yep. Exactly. Here's the thing, and we've joked about this behind the scenes, and I know a lot of folks out there would be glad if it didn't happen. Every time we issue a severe weather alert day, the system falls apart, but we don't have one in place. That's when it all goes crazy. So let's fingers crossed this morning. But here's the thing. This is not going to be a massive event regardless. The concern that we have while the severe weather alert day is in effect is slick roads possible if we get a little bit of snow this morning, and then tonight in the overnight hours going toward early tomorrow. Let's take a look at live pinpoint Doppler radar right now. And you'll see some snow starting to show up there. So again, roads are cold, so it won't take much to get a little bit of snow on them quickly. Winter weather advisory was expanded just a few minutes ago to most of southwest Virginia, East Tennessee, and parts of southeast Kentucky there until 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Temperatures are in the 20s and 30s, so right in that area we need for that snow to stick. And we could see a little bit of wintry mix as temperatures climb to right around 40 this afternoon, 39 or 40. And then we'll see tonight chances for snow return, and that could be where the accumulation actually happens. We'll talk more about that coming up in a little bit. Will?
All righty, Brandon, thank you. Well, after Wednesday night's round of snow that created some black ice, road crews are preparing for what could be another early morning.
WYMT's Hannah Reynolds talked to crews in Bell County about what they are doing to get ready.
The last few weeks for road crews in Bell County,
it's been it's been a little bit overwhelming. The slides, different slides in areas that we not used to working, and it's been a lot of toll on the men and hours.
As they still need all hands on deck for flood cleanup. So now a new round of snow doubles the workload.
The ditches is full. All the ditches is full, and water's running on the road, so you've got that ice to deal with, on a daily basis too when the temperatures is cold.
Their drivers stay ready for anything. The biggest way to do that, making sure to get the salt down in time and making sure it's the right kind for that spot.
Well, the blue salt is more treated. It's kind of a lower temperature. We use it for, and probably 20 and below we would use it. Anything above 20 degrees that we would use the white type.
At this point, they know the areas most prone to black ice, those like Varilla Curve.
See how dark it is? And with that, it just keeps the moisture there. It stays in that. The sun don't hit it to dry it out.
They do it all to keep their tight-knit county safe.
But kids is our first priority of getting these buses in and out safe. And you can imagine these buses running with any bit of this. There's not much room for error here.
So now, they wait for the calls to get back out wherever they're needed next. In Bell County, Hannah Reynolds, WYMT Mountain News.
Now to track that snow and any other weather worries, download the free WYMT weather app, and you can keep track of any school closing and delays on WYMT.com.
The city of Prestonsburg announced that it will not be moving forward with a proposed partnership with Lifeguard Emergency Services. The city plans to use its fire and rescue crews to respond to emergency calls with an ambulance instead of the usual response vehicles. Mayor Les Stapleton says the crews are prepared, and this will cut down on wait times because first responders will not have to wait on a transport crew in emergency situations.
The citizens of Prestonsburg pay taxes. They expect services that we need to give them. Now, we're going to roll up in an ambulance. We're going to triage. We're going to treat. We're going to package. We're going to load and transport.
Lifeguard representatives say this will not change their mission or the way they serve the community. They say the company remains committed to working with the city. Stapleton says this new venture will allow the company to save manpower and save more lives.
And the president of the Pike County Firefighters Association says a volunteer firefighter is in the burn unit this morning. Corey Stevenson, who we are told was a firefighter with the Kemper Fire Department, was taken to Cabell Huntington Hospital with burns to his hands and face. He was battling a structure fire last night when he was burned in a flashover. We do not know his current condition, but we are told he was talking at the scene.
A fire police say was intentionally set at Pikeville Medical Center put one man behind bars. First responders say they were called early Thursday morning to a report of a fire in a first floor bathroom. When they arrived, they found a garbage can on fire and paper towels placed over the fire alarm. This man, Tristan Blair, was seen leaving that bathroom shortly before the fire started. He was charged with first-degree arson and taken to the Pike County Detention Center.
Thomas and Jennifer Stacy, the Floyd County couple accused of child abuse, appeared in Floyd County Circuit Court yesterday for bond hearings. The hearing for Thomas was rescheduled, and Detective Tiffany Bond discussed the investigation before Jennifer's attorney asked that Jennifer be released on house arrest. Circuit Judge Johnny Ray Harris says he wants to revisit the possibility of house arrest once he has confirmed that the children in their care have all been deemed safe. But he says the bond will remain at $100,000 for now. Harris says he will revisit the motion on March 9th.
Now to East Tennessee, where Angela Boswell, the grandmother of missing 15-month-old Evelyn Boswell, appeared before a judge yesterday. Police say they found her in a stolen car that could be linked to the toddler's disappearance. As of now, there is still no sign of Evelyn.
Also in Tennessee, Governor Bill Lee announced a constitutional carry bill yesterday. The proposed law would remove handgun carry permits for people 21 years or older in Tennessee, except for in certain restricted areas. Lee mentioned that the legislation would increase penalties on those who steal or unlawfully possess a firearm.
In Frankfort, lawmakers have approved upgrades to a bill designed to provide more treatment options to the mentally ill and who advocates say often end up in jails. The legislature passed Tim's Law in 2017. It is named for a Lexington man who died in 2014 and was arrested numerous times because of his mental condition. The bill's purpose was to require assisted outpatient treatment and provide the legal means for families to force loved ones into treatment. The revision that passed the Senate and was approved in a House committee yesterday says a person has to be involuntarily hospitalized twice in the past 2 years instead of twice in the past year.
We're going to monitor you, and we're going to make sure that you stay on your medications and that you show up for treatment.
The original Tim's Law was vetoed by former Governor Matt Bevin, but the legislature overrode the veto. This year's bill now goes to the full House.
And concerns over a huge flock of birds continues in Manchester.
Yeah, we first told you about this on Wednesday. You may remember the Clay County Ambulance Service was asked to blare sirens to scare away the birds.
WYMT's Dakota Makris was there last night and talked with women who works nearby for a reaction on the sirens.
Like a scene from an Alfred Hitchcock movie, these birds cause issues for those who live and work around Courthouse Hill in Manchester.
We get to work right around 7:15, and that's about what time they decide to leave the trees.
Mary Hibbard works in the area.
It's amazing.
For her, it's like watching a movie.
There's so much chirping, and then you watch them do a lot of flying around the trees and joining in their groups.
Local groups worry that all of these birds and what they leave behind may cause health problems. So they asked the Clay County Ambulance Service to run their sirens to scare away the birds. And during our interview,
maybe they're circling the block.
the ambulance service was doing its job. So what was your reaction to hearing the ambulance? Do you think that's going to help?
I noticed they got a little jittery in the trees that's closer to us.
Even though the birds were jittery, we did not see a whole lot of movement.
If you raise a garden, you know that there's very little things, scarecrows and other things that you can do that's just not going to scare them off.
The birds may be here to stay until warmer weather arrives. In Clay County, Dakota Makris, WYMT Mountain News.
Snow showers trying to form across the region this morning. Let's go right to the satellite radar loop over the last 6 hours, and you can see those starting to filter in. Some heavier bands indicated by some brighter blue, especially up north of Jackson and north of Pikeville and London this morning. So beware of that. Roads could turn slick quick this morning. A lot more school closings and delays starting to come in now. You can see those at the bottom of your screen and on WYMT.com. 20s and 30s for temperatures. Ripe snow weather right there. A little extra to max warming needed on the coffee meter depending on where you are this morning. Just be careful out there. Snow chances today, early tomorrow, and then sunshine returns for Saturday afternoon going into Sunday as we wrap up February and start March. Madison?
Thank you, Brandon, and thank you for joining us on Mountain News this morning.
More news is on the way. Coming up, the voice of the Hazard Bulldogs was honored for 50 years behind the mic recently. We share his story and dedication to the community.